Shinrikyo. Om Shinrikyo. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
This Japanese doomsday cult was founded by Shoko Asahara in 1984 and was operating as recently as 2005. This dangerous and massive cult brought together the ideals of Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, and most importantly, yoga. To no surprise, they also took part in their fair share of hallucinogenic drugs. However, they would later begin creating their own not-so-fun drugs. Drugs that would dismantle their group and land 16 members the death penalty. I am Jake Storielli, and this is the Supreme Truth Cult.
Wow, what an intro.
What an intro it was.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Laughs from the Past. It is season 7, episode 3. Doing another cult. And as Jake told you in his beautiful intro, it is the Shinrikyo, the Supreme Truth Cult. Going to Japan for this one. You ever heard of this, Jake? Didn't you used to study them back in the day?
Shinrikyo. I mean, I feel a part of it. I'm probably the second biggest yoga dot in your life. From your sister Elizabeth to me.
Rachel Miller beat you out.
I don't know about all that. I mean, the stuff I was doing in Dallas really opened your eyes, and that was before Rachel. No, I don't know anything about this. I'm interested in the yoga twist. I mean, hey, you and I were talking about our, how to start a cult 101 type episode, and maybe debating us each creating our own cult and seeing which one comes out better. I mean, this has a little religion with some hallucinogenic drugs. I mean, that is two of the staples to creating a good cult. So I'm interested in the yoga twist. And I think right now we have nothing on the leader. I guess I'm assuming yoga will be an attachment to the leader, but usually the leader has some fun stuff to it.
Okay. You're into hallucinogenic drugs then. Big fan.
What was that last part?
You are into hallucinogenic drugs.
Got my camera angles all off today. Not right now.
Okay. Good to know. Let's get right into this one, Jake. I didn't know that cults was going to take us to Japan. I didn't know.
I'm sorry you didn't know that.
But Shoko Asahara was born on March 2nd, 1955 into a large, poor family of tatami mat makers. In Japan's
mat maker, make me a mat.
Step on my mat. Get dirt on my mat.
That's the job of the mat.
It's the job of the mat gets the dirt. They don't ever call mat makers dirt catchers. Why don't you wipe your feet on my dirt catcher right there? That's something cool. Might start using that. He had infantile glaucoma from birth, which made him lose all sight in his left eye and go partially blind in his right eye at a young age, and was thus enrolled in a school for the blind. That makes sense. If you're blind, you should go to school for blind people. I'm all for that.
But we have some vision?
Yeah. His left eye's gone, and his right eye is partially blind. Yeah.
Yeah, at a young age. So we have him in school. He can kind of see. This is where I'm starting to get nervous, because it sounds like he can kind of see, but he's at a blind school.
Well, the next sentence says he was known to be a bully at school.
That's the formula.
Taking advantage of the other students by beating them and extorting money from them. Man, imagine being at a blind school, but you can partially see. That's unfair.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm and kids. I mean, kids have fragile minds, and kids, kids do dumb stuff. I mean, hey, if I was the one kid who could see at the all blind school, I'm probably gonna do some stupid stuff.
How often would you take your dick out? Not to be crass, but I think you would.
Ooh. At that age, not a lot.
What about at 14?
Ooh, interesting. A lot.
Hey, teach, check this out. I'm guessing the teachers are blind too.
See, I'm assuming the teachers can see, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, best way to learn from a blind person is
Think
to be
about
blind.
all the power. If you're in a classroom of all blind students and the teacher's blind, and there's one kid who can see. I mean, this is a recipe this is now part of my recipe to make a cult leader. You've made this kid way too powerful at an early age.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he graduated in 1977 and turned to the study of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, which were common careers for the blind in Japan. Damn, dude. What are common careers for the blind now? Common careers for the blind. Teachers, social workers, doctors. Doctors? What? Masseuse? That makes sense. A lot of hands.
Yeah, I think masseuse ties into what they were saying there. I mean, if you can kind of feel a body part and figure it out.
Yeah, well, factory workers. Depends on the factory, I guess. Like, if they're making pillows, I think you can do that. So those were common careers for the blind in Japan. And he married the following year and eventually fathered 12 children, the eldest of whom was born in 1978. So he started getting busy early. Damn. Guy was 12 children. In 1981, Asahara was convicted of practicing pharmacy without a license and selling unregulated drugs, for which he was fined 200,000 yen, which is about 260,000 yen in 2019. Still have no idea how much dollars that was. Guessing it's a good amount. Are you up to date on your yen conversion?
Couldn't it be less up to date?
Okay. Asahara's interest in religion reportedly started at this time. Having been recently married, he worked to support his large and growing family. He dedicated his free time to the study of various religious concepts, starting with Chinese astrology and Taoism. That's cool. You practice any of those?
I'm 0 for so far on my life and Asahara's life lining up.
Okay. You don't like studying Taoism?
I've never done it. I mean, maybe I do, but I'm currently out on Tao.
Taoism is like everything in the world exists for a reason, and there's patterns all around us, stuff like that.
Sure.
It's not that bad. I remember liking it when I studied religion. Later, Asahara practiced Western esotericism, yoga, meditation, esoteric Buddhism, and esoteric Christianity. We've used the word esoteric too many times, and I don't know what it means.
Nothing on my end again.
This episode ain't for you so far. What? I mean, I'm researching everything. Esoteric, intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. So niche. It's kind of like another word for niche. He studied like niche Buddhism and niche Christianity.
I mean, okay.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said it like that made it make more sense. It doesn't. I mean, what's that mean?
Like a sect of Christianity that only a few people like.
And he did that for those 3 religions.
Yeah, dude, he kind of sounds too all over the map for me. He's trying to find himself.
Well, I think I'm going to assume where this is going is he says, let me find the weirdest sect of these religions, find a connect the dot point so I can create my own religion and bait those people in. I get it
Yeah,
now.
he's kind of taking all of the weirdest popcorn kernels and putting them on the same string. And then he's going to have a popcorn necklace made up of all the weirdest parts of the religions.
I mean, can you just stop using that analogy every episode?
All right, so here's the origin of his cult. The movement was founded by Shoko Asahara in his one-bedroom apartment in Tokyo's Shibuya. I doubt that's how you say it, but that's Shibuya is pretty fun. Starting off as a yoga and meditation class known as Omi Shinsen no Kai. I mean, come on. How am I going to say these words? So, a mortal mountain wizard. That's what that means. A mortal mountain wizard. Okay, cool.
Oh.
Yeah. It steadily grew in the following years. It gained official status as a religious organization in 1989 and attracted a considerable number of graduates from Japan's elite universities, thus being dubbed a religion for the elite.
Love that.
That's cool, you know?
Love that.
I feel like ooh, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. Religion
you
for...
want to say whatever you're hesitant to say, or do you want me to say something?
I'm going to move forward. Would you want to say something?
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say the elite is a nice twist here. And the connect the dot here would be Scientology. Get a couple of the elites involved, and you're good.
Yeah, that is true. In 1984, Asahara formed Aum Shinsen no Kai. He changed his name from Chizu Matsumoto to Shoko Asahara and renamed his group Aum Shinrikyo.
Okay.
Asahara applied for government registration, and although authorities were initially reluctant after an appeal, the Tokyo metropolitan government eventually granted it legal recognition as a religious corporation in 1989. That seems like you can just do that easily. We can just make a religion, I guess, in 1989 in Japan.
I think that's the key part of this. This is like if you go through old mystery cases and it's like, yeah, he was almost caught for the murder in California, but then he went to Vermont and changed his name. And you're just like, it was that easy?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're dealing with a little bit here, where it's like our guy was just so persistent that they were like, hey, if he's this much on it being a religion, let's just punch it through.
Like Shawshank Redemption trying to get his library. Just wrote a letter a day like, how come you haven't respected my religion yet? Every day. How come you haven't respected my religion yet? And then eventually like, who's this dude? And like, oh, it's some crazy guy in a mountain. No harm. And they're like, all right, well, just make him a religion. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then
you find the right person on the right day, and you're good.
It's like ordering cable bundles.
It's kind of like if you're,
making a popcorn necklace. I already did that one.
I can't use the popcorn necklace.
Which means
I don't know.
Okay.
You order the apple pie from McDonald's, and they give you one for free.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
After his monastic order was established and many lay followers joined, Asahara gained credibility by appearing on TV and on magazine covers. He gradually attained a following of believers and began being invited to lecture meeting at universities. Asahara also wrote several religious books, including Beyond Life and Death, and Supreme Initiation. Beyond Life and Death. What the fuck, dude? Bad title. Bad title.
I think this is leading up to our real birth of things.
The doctrine of Aum Shinrikyos is based on the Vajrayana scriptures, the Bible, and other texts. In 1992, Asahara published Declaring Myself the Christ, within which he declared himself Christ. Got right. Dude, that's good naming right there. Get right to the point. What's this book about? It's where I declare myself Christ. What's it called? Declaring Myself the Christ. Cool. Noted. Good. No clickbait there, Jake.
No.
You may see the title Declaring Myself Christ and think this is clickbait. No clickbait at all. Very honest.
No. This is what I'm doing now. That's a good good Facebook status back in the day.
Whoa, what are
I
you up
am now
to?
Christ.
I am now Christ, yeah.
So,
Uh,
like,
um, Japan's only fully enlightened master, and he identified himself with the Lamb of God.
nice. Is that how the band got their name?
The Lamb of God?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
Or Lamb of God looks like it goes back into Jesus, Gospel, and John and stuff. So okay.
Yeah, that's a Bible verse. That's a Bible term.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You only knew them as the band.
Yeah, big fan.
Or I don't even know that band.
Oh, you'd love them.
What's their most best song?
I mean, they're like heavy dark metal.
Why do you know them?
Honestly, I was just digging through my brain records to see where I landed, and I think one of our friend's little brothers went through a high school phase where he was like, "I'm gonna dig into the dark music, man."
There's a little Lamb of God for everyone. Yeah. Man, do you? If you like that, go enjoy it. But what the fuck, man? How do people listen to that?
It's it's a mood, I guess.
All right, where are we? There's so many words I don't understand in this story so far.
A little bit.
Lamb of God. His purported mission was to take other sins upon himself, and he claimed he could transfer spiritual power to his followers. He saw dark conspiracies everywhere, promulgated by the Jews, the Freemasons, the Dutch, the British royal family, and rival Japanese religions. Who do you think
promulgated is to promote or make widely known, which everyone knew, but I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. So they were promoting conspiracies. The Jews, the Freemasons, the Dutch, British royal family, and rival Japanese religions. Who would you fear most? Jews, Freemasons, or the Dutch?
Dude, you don't mess with the Jews. This Mexican restaurant I used to go to in Dallas had the only picture on the wall. It just had a list of every group of people who's tried to kill the Jews, and they're all gone.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really heavy when I'd be eating my hungover burrito.
Why did they have that on the wall?
I don't know, man. It's kind of a don't ask, don't tell situation. I was just gonna get my burrito and get out of there and not mess with any Jewish people.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to Google that list, but I don't think I want to. I can't find it.
What's your answer?
The Freemasons.
Okay.
Don't fuck with those guys.
Nice.
The Dutch? I mean, kind of rude of kind of really nice of him to throw the Dutch into this list of people. Have the Dutch ever been associated with the British royal family, the Freemasons, and the Jews?
I mean, this is the first time I've seen the Dutch listed in an actual hateful way.
Like an adversary.
The Austin Powers movie.
Well, he outlined a doomsday prophecy, which included a third world war, and described a final conflict culminating in a nuclear Armageddon, borrowing the term from the book of Revelation. He borrowed a lot of terms from the Bible. All right, so this dude wanted, we got doomsday, we got world war, kind of the same, right?
At first, I was going to say I'm not in on the doomsday because that gives your new religion kind of an ultimatum. But you can also adjust that if you want, because that's how it works. But also, you just make that far out enough, and I mean, it's going to outlast you, so that's not a bad play. Has
there ever been a doomsday situation that you actually were like, oh shit, this may be the one, like 12-12-12 or the Mayan one.
I think Y2K, I was a little like, what's gonna happen? Just
The
because
computers.
adults and people were like, oh, the world might shut down, and it's like, okay, seems that's out of my hands.
I wish I was an
The
adult for
computers
Y2K.
or the computers will just the clock will go from 12 to 12:01 like it does every fucking time.
Y2K is a litmus test, and if you fell for it, you should have been fired from your job and like had to fend for yourself for the rest of your life because you're dumb.
Yeah. Damn.
It's harsh, Jake, but if your parents like bunkered down and bought extra supplies and thought that Y2K was real, your parents are dumb.
Damn, dude.
I hate to be a bully.
You're being a bully.
Yeah, I hate it. It doesn't feel good.
What if the bank stopped working?
So stupid. So stupid. Whoever drummed up the fear of Y2K was a marketing genius, honestly. Yeah. So we got Doomsday, Armageddon, World War. He says humanity would end, except for the elite few who joined Om. Of course, Om's mission was not only to spread the word of salvation, but also to survive these end times. Asahara predicted that Armageddon would occur in 1977. Kaplan notes that in his lectures, Shoko Asahara referred to the United States as the Beast from the Book of Revelation, predicting it would eventually attack Japan. Making the U.S. out to be the bad guys? Come on.
Yep.
Seems mean. Now, the U.S., the British royal family, the Dutch, the Freemasons, and the Jews. It's got a lot of enemies.
It's a big group. Us against the world.
All right, here's the events that took place. I'm doing a terrible job reading today. Just want to let everyone know I know that. It's a lot of hard words. Although Om was considered controversial in Japan, it had yet to be associated with serious crimes. It was during this period that Asahara became obsessed with biblical prophecies. Om's public relations activities included publishing comics and animated cartoons that attempted to tie its religious ideas to popular anime and manga themes, including space missions, powerful weapons, world conspiracies, and the quest for ultimate truth. That's a good quest.
Hey, we're all low-key on the quest for ultimate truth.
Yeah, every day. Om published several magazines, including Vajrayana Saka and Enjoy Happiness. Those are the two names. One's...
So I read that, so I can speak pretty well on that. No, you are right, though. Those two titles, little...
Vajrayana Saka and Enjoy Happiness. What is Vajrayana?
Ways with it.
What do you think Vajrayana Saka translates to?
I don't know. I don't have a guess on that one.
Me neither. It says it's Italian for Vajrayana Saka. So no help there, Google Translate.
Zero help.
In private, both Asahara and his top disciples reportedly continued their humble lifestyles, the only exception being the armored Mercedes-Benz gifted by a wealthy follower. That's cool.
So wait. In private, Asahara and his top disciples. Okay, so live humbly, accept a dope car?
It's armored. You're not going to turn that down.
Armored car is pretty dope.
Yeah. So everything else you can live humble, but that Benz, that's staying. It's 1997.
This is non-negotiable.
All right, here's the lead-up crimes. The cult started attracting controversy in the late 1980s with accusations of deception of recruits, holding cult members against their will, forcing members to donate money, and murdering a cult member who tried to leave in February 1989. you're going to join a cult and then be upset when the cult holds you against your will. I feel like if you join a cult, you're knowingly giving up your will. Like you belong to the cult and that's on you.
Yeah. Are they called a cult at the time? Like when they're recruiting, are they like, yeah, we're a cult? Or are they saying like we're a religious group?
Religious group, I think. Does any cult call themselves a cult?
That's what I'm asking. I have no idea.
I don't. It's got such a negative connotation. I don't think they do. I think it's all religious group or the Manson family and stuff like that.
Wouldn't it be kind of on brand for a cult to call themselves a cult though? Like we're a cult. Like I feel like cult people would love hearing that they're in a cult, right?
I don't know. 'Cause I think a lot of people don't know they're in a cult. They think they're in a group. They're like, no, we're not a cult.
Yeah.
I see how you think that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I felt the first time I took my friend to a Catholic church with my family. And he was like, whoa, dude, that was really weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean that was really weird? And he was like, well, there's a dead guy across the wall. You guys sit and stand whenever they tell you to. You do the Pontius Pilate where you just repeat the priest and then you go up there and drink his blood. And I was like, oh, dude, you may be right. I may be in a cult.
When you take a step back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
Priest is all dressed like bishops and shit with like the tassels. It's very culty.
I mean, in the year 4000, they'll be doing a podcast on the cult of Christianity. Can I say that? I don't think so.
You just did.
Just did.
In October 1989, Jake, is that when you were born?
It is.
Hell yeah.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need to lean into this a little more. Maybe I'm an on Shinrikyo baby.
All right. Well, in October 1989, the group's negotiations with Tsutsumi Sakamoto. What an awesome name.
Yeah.
The Japanese last names are the most fun.
Dude, in Tsutsumi, you get a little repeat there, and then the end. I mean, that's killer.
Yeah. Sakamoto's awesome. Well, they negotiated with him. He was an anti-cult lawyer threatening a lawsuit against them, which could potentially bankrupt the group. But they failed. In the same month, Sakamoto recorded an interview for a talk show on the Japanese TV station's TBS. The network then had the interview secretly shown to the group without notifying Sakamoto, intentionally breaking protection of sources. The group then pressured TBS to cancel the broadcast. The following month, Sakamoto, his wife, and his child went missing from their home in Yokohama. Wait. What happened?
Yeah, so we this finally got escalated. I think Tsutsumi Sakamoto was trying to bring down what he was recognizing as a cult. They failed with the cult releasing the interview like too early, so it broke the protection of sources, quote unquote, forcing the TV show to cancel. So everything is kind of okay up to this point. I mean, we've got a little under the table, and then Sakamoto, his wife, and his child are now missing, which is we've hit cult. We went from group to cult, I think.
But why did the network sandbag Sakamoto like that?
I think it was like part of the cult got in there, bro.
The network then had the interview secretly shown to the group without notifying Sakamoto, intentionally breaking protection of sources. I mean, the network killed this dude. They handed him over to the cult.
I mean, or the cult was an inside job. I mean, that's where I'm currently leaning.
I mean, you mean the cult had people inside of the network?
Yes.
Or this Sakamoto dude was a real bad employee, and they used the cult as a pawn to get rid of him because they were too scared to fire him.
Or
No, so he's constantly talking about cults, right? Cults this,
imagine if
cults that. They're like, okay, fine. You want to talk about cults so much? Let's do an interview. And they're like, hey, cult, how do you feel about this? Because they wanted to get rid of him. That's fucked.
I think they just promised him this cult spot, and then another news story came in, and they were like, "How can we get out of it?" And then they were like, "Oh, if we accidentally show it early, we can't air." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, we can't air it. We owe you one." And then he got murdered.
Yeah, they didn't even like show it early. They just like invited the cult for a secret like showing. Check out what
Yeah.
this guy's saying about you. He's saying you're a cult. Oh, then
Inside job.
damn. The police were unable to resolve the case at the time, although some of his colleagues publicly voiced their suspicions of the group. It was not until after 1995, 6 years later, that they were found to have been murdered and their bodies dumped by cult members. It's fucked.
Yeah, man. I mean, we just had a husband, wife, and child murdered. So
The
we're
cult, dude, this
we're
cult,
in it.
like, man, it is like Scientology.
But
Kaplan and Marshall allege in their book that was also connected with such activities as extortion. Of course they were. The group, authors report, commonly took patients into its hospitals and then forced them to pay exorbitant medical bills. I mean, that's just what hospitals are these days.
yeah,
I mean, I got taken to a hospital for being drunk on campus, and then they tried to charge me and my family $4,000 for that.
yeah.
For the ambulance ride and for like giving me medicine to calm me down. And I was like, what? So they're a cult. My mom straight up didn't pay.
Good.
She was like, my mom said, there's zero chance I'm paying that. If they have a problem with that, they'll send another reminder. And they never did. Because my mom was like, I could sue you so easily.
Yeah, right. Like
you can't do that.
Yeah, you guys are in the wrong.
Well, so is the cult. In July 1993, cult members sprayed large amounts of liquid containing Bacillus anthracis, spores from a cooling tower on the roof of Shinrikyo's Tokyo headquarters.
Wow, so we've got an anthrax scare. Here we are 15 years before the one that our generation is familiar with some anthrax.
Yeah, but however, Jake, their plan to cause an anthrax epidemic failed. The attack resulted in a large number of complaints about bad odors, but no infections.
Oh,
They just
been there.
that's how you live.
Doc, is something wrong with me, Doc? I don't feel good. Oh no, just another case of bad odors, no infections. Come on.
Here's the good news. We found 0 infections.
But,
Here's the bad news. You just smell real bad.
I mean, this is a bad odor, man.
That should be a backing band name like Jake Storielli and the Bad Odors.
Ooh, bad odors is good.
Yeah. It is.
So let's some quick timeline stuff. The reporter and his family that were murdered. This is 2 years before this. That they tried the anthrax thing, which, hey, I'm interested to see what happens next because it sounds like they tried to poison the water, which would kill a lot of people.
No. The lawyer went missing in 1989.
Excuse me.
They just didn't.
They didn't find the body till 95. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I was going to say, timeline-wise, that didn't make sense. Now it does.
So are they trying to cause a doomsday with the anthrax stuff?
I don't know. Like, we don't have a motivation right now, right?
It seems like they killed that family and then they kind of lost their way. And the cult's kind of in like their rebellious teenager phase. Let's just cause mayhem.
Okay. See, I'm going, like, I think in the last cult we talked about, you said how someone died and they were like, oh shoot, we need to make something up. I think that's what happened here. And like they said, oh no, killing that guy was good. So then people were like, should we kill more? And this is, yeah.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
At the end of 1993, the cult started secretly manufacturing the nerve agent sarin and later VX gas. They also attempted to manufacture 1,000 automatic rifles, but only managed to make one. It
Guys,
seems like an impressive failure.
that's a disaster.
Well, I mean, maybe they just forgot to. Maybe when the leader wrote down what the plan was, his comma in 1,000 looked like a period, so they just thought it was make one automatic rifle.
I mean, that just seems like a disastrous oversight. How can you think you have the material for 1,000 guns and you make one? And how do you bring that new information to the cult leader who's killing people? Who was the messenger there?
How does that ever get out, like, to the public? Yeah, you know that gun we made? We were planning on making 1,000, but we couldn't do it. I mean, you just sit on that and you'd be like, and we made a gun.
Yeah. A gun?
I'm trying to find the source for this. It says between 1994 and 1995, Toyota, Hiroshi, and Mr. Asahara allegedly planned to manufacture 1,000 automatic rifles modeled after the Russian-made AK-47, but succeeded in only producing one. Now, I have a question, because I know we just ripped them apart, but I kind of want to go on the entire other side. Is it impressive that they made a gun? I wouldn't be able to.
It is, until you hear the goal. Like, if you gave me a goal to make 1,000 guns, like, okay, you gather some data. How do we make one gun? Okay, multiply that by 1,000. I'd multiply it by like 1,100, because I'd assume we'd make 100 bad ones along the way, just covering my butt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then to land at one, I don't know.
Yeah. It's just like pathetic. But I still think it's cool they made one. Like, who are they getting? How are they making this nerve agent shit?
Right? I feel like we've missed a segue from religious, this guy is God, to now we're trying to make chemical warfare in 1,000 guns.
Maybe by like cult of the elite, they meant scientists and engineers.
Maybe.
You never
Not
know.
to elite if their 1,001 thing happened.
Yeah. Well, here's something else they did, Jake. They tried to kill former Tokyo governor Yukio Aoshima in May of 1995 by mailing a parcel bomb to his house. The package exploded when Mr. Aoshima's secretary opened it, blowing off all his fingers on one hand. So that's something they did.
Yeah, I mean, this is turning into like Fight Club.
Yeah, what are these guys doing? They seem so unorganized. They seem like really unorganized and so far just bad at everything. They tried to kill the governor and they just blow off his secretary's fingers. They tried to give an anthrax scare and they just basically made a fart bomb and dropped it on the people. Try to make 1,000 guns and only make one. They did kill that one guy though and his family.
Yeah.
Well, on the night of June 27th, 1994, the cult carried out a chemical weapons attack against civilians when they released the sarin in the central Japanese city of Matsumoto, Nagano. With the help of a converted refrigerator truck, members of the cult released a cloud of sarin which floated near the homes of judges who were overseeing a lawsuit concerning a real estate dispute which was predicted to go against the cult. Whoa, okay. So there's a lawsuit going on, and it's a real estate lawsuit, and it's going against them?
Yeah. So they said, let's kill the judges instead.
Yes. And before they did this, they took the sarin and they tested it on sheep. at Banjawarn Station in Western Australia, and it killed 29 sheep. What?
Dude, a lot of moving parts to this are really annoying so far.
Yeah, and then
Why'd they have to go to Western Australia to try the sarin on these sheep?
Maybe because there's not a lot of humans in Western Australia. It's basically like an island in a country. But I kind of want to see, I'm going to do directions, Japan to Western Australia. It's pretty far, dude.
Like, did they travel with this chemical?
Or
did they make it on site?
Did they send scientists over there?
I don't know. I don't love this cult so far.
Yeah, I'm confused by everything about them. Anyway, when they did
we still have no motive on this, right?
They just want anarchy. Like, they wanted doomsday. They didn't really know what they wanted. They wanted doomsday.
Yeah.
They wanted end of the world. Now they're just killing, like, sheep.
Yeah.
Some farmer found 29 of his sheep dead and probably still doesn't know what happened.
Yeah, was he ever informed?
I'd like to know. How did they know? Okay, anyway. So the refrigerator truck releases the gas, and it floated near the homes of the judges overseeing the lawsuit against them. And that incident killed 8 and harmed 500 more. And police investigations focused only on an innocent local resident, Yoshiyuka Kwono, and failed to implicate the cult at the time. So they got off scot-free? They thought one dude?
Innocent local resident. Like, what? What?
Kono was a machinery salesman, lived next door to the site where Shinrikyo members parked the customized vehicle carrying the deadly nerve agent.
Come on.
Despite the fact that his wife, Sumiko, was one of the people who had been gassed and was comatose at the time, the investigating police considered Kono a prime suspect in the crime, considering his property to have been the point of origin of the sarin. Further, it was discovered that Kono had 20 chemicals stored at his residence, which he had purchased for photo processing and pottery, along with pesticides. That is sketchy. Despite the fact that sarin could not be synthesized from any combination of these chemicals, and Kono lacked any of the qualifications or considerable knowledge of and experience in chemistry necessary to produce it. So this guy got fucked. They just parked in front of his house and they said it was him.
This guy has a hobby of pottery and taking care of plants. His wife got poisoned by the cult, and he is now getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, his wife remained unconscious until her death in 2008. Oh my God.
Really sad.
Yeah. Is there more to this?
There's just more attacks. I think we're coming up on another attack.
God damn. Okay, so on the morning of March 20th, 1995, all members released a binary chemical weapon, most closely chemical similar to sarin, in a coordinated attack on 5 trains in the Tokyo subway system, killing 13 commuters, seriously injuring 54, and affecting 980 more. These guys were just fucking terrorists?
Yes.
Can we call a terrorist group a cult? Like, they're just terrorists.
Yes.
I don't think there was a greater good. I think they were just fucking causing terror. Like, like there wasn't like, we're going to go to aliens or, like he says he's from God. I don't know, man. Prosecutors allege that Asahara was tipped off by an insider about planned police raids on cult facilities and ordered an attack in central Tokyo to divert police attention away from the group. The attack evidently backfired, and police conducted huge simultaneous raids on cult compounds across the country. Over the next week, the full scale of Aum's activities was revealed for the first time. At the cult's headquarters in Kamikuinshika, on the foot of Mount Fuji, police found explosives, chemical weapons, and a Russian Mi-17 military helicopter, while the finding of biological warfare agents such as anthrax and Ebola cultures was reported, those claims now to appear have been widely exaggerated. There were stockpiles of chemicals that could be used for producing enough sarin to kill 4 million people. That's the end of the world type stuff. They had laborers to make all this stuff.
Dislike.
He said all his chemicals were just fertilizers. Over the next 6 weeks, over 150 cult members were arrested for a variety of offenses. The media was stationed outside Aum's Tokyo headquarters on Kamikaze Dori in Aoma for months after the attack, and arrests waiting for action and to get images of the cult's other members. On April 23rd, Hideo Morei, the head of Aum's Ministry of Science, was stabbed to death outside the cult's Tokyo headquarters amidst a crowd of 100 reporters in front of cameras. The man responsible, a Korean member of Yamaguchi Gumi, was arrested and eventually convicted of murder, and his motive remains unknown. His motive may have been that the cult was killing hundreds of people and harming thousands of lives. Seems like a good motive to me.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either, man. This is the reasons why a small circle of mostly senior Aum members committed atrocities and the extent of personal involvement in Asahara remain unclear. Damn, I was really hoping it would be clear. But there are several theories, Jake. In response to the prosecution's charge that Asahara ordered the subway attacks to distract authorities, the defense maintained that Asahara was not aware of events. Pointing to his deteriorating health shortly after his arrest, Asahara abandoned his post as the organization's leader, and since then has maintained silence, refusing to communicate even with lawyers and family members. Dude, I think this guy won, you know? Like, I think...
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so shitty, is he wasn't a cult leader. He was a terrorist who caused terror and harmed lives, and he won. Fuck this guy. This is the punishment. The group underwent a number of transformations in the aftermath of Asahara's arrest and trial. For a brief time, Asahara's 2 preteen sons officially replaced him as guru. It regrouped under the new name Aleph. And then they changed the religious text. And they apologized to the victims of the sarin gas attack and established a special compensation fund. You can't do that. You can't do that. Sorry about all the murder. We're putting together a fund. We didn't mean it.
Church.
Damn it. One of the few senior leaders of the group under Asahara who did not face serious charges became official head of the organization in 1999. It still was going. Koki Ishii, a legislator who formed an anti-Aum committee in the National Diet in 1999, was murdered in 2002. Damn. For 15 years, only 3 fugitives were being actively sought. Then eventually, Makoto Hirata surrendered himself to the police and was arrested on suspicion of being involved in 1995 abduction of Kiyoshi Kari, a non-member who had died during the Aum kidnapping and interrogation. Damn, man.
I mean, we're in 2012, by the way.
Yeah, in 2018, which was last year, basically, Asahara and 6 other Aum Shinrikyo members were executed by hanging. Oh. 13 members were on death row at the time. I mean, usually cults are so weird that, like, they're so weird. I mean, this guy was just like a half-blind yoga-doing terrorist who kind of just mixed a bunch of religions. How'd he gain his followers?
Yeah, and I guess you're right. Like, we didn't get too much on the gaining of followers. I guess with his scriptures and stuff and the being elite type stuff. And I guess what we overlooked, because we were cracking jokes about it, but so much of it was dark conspiracies. Remember the whole thing about the Freemasons, Jews, Dutch, British royal family? That I guess this whole thing was built on dark conspiracies and hate of people. So I guess from there, that's an easy transition to trying to kill everyone. But yipes.
Yeah, it's scary. This is some like cartoon shit. They making the gases and stuff, and yeah, they made one rifle. Imagine if they made 1,000 rifles, but they did make the gas. A lot of pictures of him doing yoga or like kind of naked on Google Images. Interested in that? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We heard so much about the yoga and stuff, and like, how does that tie in at all?
I don't know, man, but like if you Google pictures, he's doing a lot of yoga. A lot of yoga.
And that's another thing we love about cults is not let me start over. Not another thing we love about cults, but there's normally some weird dynamic where the guy, there's sex is tied in. People like money, sex, drugs. And so far we have no like sex connection on this.
No.
And we heard hallucinogenics were involved. We never heard a deep dive on that. So are we just assuming they did normal cult stuff with sex and drugs?
Yeah, but it doesn't even say that, dude. There's a picture of him doing yoga where it looks like he's levitating, and he sent that around to try and convince people he was like, of a higher power.
Right.
And it says he preyed on young people and just told them like he was going to create a new world after Armageddon and shit. And his friend, a former classmate, said for him, violence was like a hobby. Once he got angry, there was no way to stop it.
Yeah, this feels... I mean, it started with some root cults, and then it just ended up being like a weird fight club.
Just a bunch of bad guys.
And gals, I'm assuming.
This is my least favorite cult. I'd take the aliens who all killed themselves. Like, all they killed was themselves.
Yeah, this cult... I don't even really get it, man.
They're like ISIS.
It was bad times. And like they were around for a while. Was it like whispers in the alleys? People knew about these people, or did they have no idea?
Well, like even after they got arrested, they were still around.
Right.
It seems like a good time to maybe shut them down. I don't know.
Bad cult, 0 stars.
I will say this. He might be the most talented recruiter we've seen. Like, Charles Manson just recruited a bunch of hippie chicks with no home. Space Dude recruited a bunch of, like, depressed alien-seeking people. This guy recruited, like, chemists. Smart people. They build bombs. The elite.
He went the elite route, yeah.
So
he got a helicopter. I feel like that's a lot of cult leaders' goals. But yeah, we didn't get too much on that.
Helicopter and a lot of weapons, even though like he lived humbly. I don't get it. Thought the armored Mercedes-Benz was his only extravagance. It's called Blows.
Blows cult.
All right, thank you guys for listening to Laughs from the Past. Sorry for ruining your afternoon if you're not into bad cults. But we appreciate you, and we'll be back next Tuesday. See ya.
5-star review. Bad
5-star
cults.
review. Bad cults. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. See you later.